Yeah, so we started Odyssey with the drive to get into action. There was a lot of talking in 2015 and 2016 on what blockchain and specifically public blockchains and cryptocurrency could, how we could benefit from that in our society. And and I thought, okay, how do we get into action? First of all, you have to get the right challenges from the right organizations, and I was seeing all kinds of corporates and governments asking kind of the wrong questions to the wrong usual suspects. They were or not organizing. They were asking, let's say, database or organization questions instead of really like complex ecosystem uh, questions. And we were like, okay, let's start an incubation program for those specific challenges that have a gazillion of different stakeholders that don't know each other but do need to do business together and exchange value together. And so we brought together, on the one hand, the incumbents and the institutional paradigm and connected them with, let's say, the nascent, emerging Web3 world. Parity, Ocean Protocol, the folks from Ethereum, they've always been partners and friends of the innovation program. And the highlight of that program was the biggest blockchain hackathon in Europe. It started in 2017 with the first edition, so 500 people. Then 2018 it was 1,000 people. 2019 was 1,500 people from 40 countries, and the fun part of it, it was very well prepared, very well structured. So not like your average chaotic hackathon where everyone just tried to solve a bounty. No, it was really about being very prepared through all kinds of events, knowing already that there will be at least 100 experts in your field that would be able to help you and way beyond, whether it's legal regulations, engineers, from doctors to firefighters to people that make solar panels to what have you, right? So very very diverse, and having that all together in one space also, you have this cross pollination effect, right? So whether you're working on something in energy or something in healthcare or public services, digital identity, you have this cross pollination going on all the time. And that's where a lot of the magic actually happens. Then COVID hit us all, right? So we were gearing up for the biggest event we ever did. Almost 3,000 people already like confirmed that they were coming to Groningen in the Netherlands. Try to pronounce that. and and yeah, then we couldn't do it. So after two times postponing it, we thought, okay, we got to take this online. But already, getting 2.5 to 3,000 people in the same space in this, let's say, ecosystem setting where you're going to do intense collaboration. You don't do that in Slack. You don't do that in Zoom. So, and when you look at, let's say, other 3D environments, they don't really have utility. I mean, gaming, of course, is a big thing in 3D environments, but in non-gaming 3D environments, yeah, there's not so much you can do, right? So then we already knew we had to create our own new stack. And so what we did is basically apply massively multiplayer online gaming to collaboration, to mass collaboration in an ecosystem setting. And it went live during the hackathon. We built the first edition in 4 or 5 months. And then you see 1,600 people logged in at the same time, flying around in this 3D world uh, in outer space, and each platform is a team working on a project, and you see people going from platform to platform to really talk with the teams, to really contribute. The teams would list what are their challenges, what are the questions they're having, where would they like to have advice, and that's when you saw really like a glimpse of the magic happening, so to say, and that was the origin of Momentum. And basically, Momentum is a new open source stack that enables you to build 3D worlds for the browser with a highly collaborative, let's say, focal focus, and that is made possible through, let's say, the utilities that we can integrate. It's kind of a plug-in infrastructure, and so when that came out of the hackathon, um, uh, we we kind of changed our company forever, right? We couldn't go back to organizing the physical event anymore. That
Yeah.
felt like going backwards, and so we wanted to take this forward and see, okay, our mission has always been to unleash the collaborative superpowers of humans, right? We think the world is a better place if we can do that, and then after exploring, building all kinds of 3D worlds for our existing clients. With our investors, we talked to a lot of these Web3 ecosystems as well, and then we found our match with the Dotsama ecosystem. And because what we're trying to achieve is like yeah, it's a complete fit with uh, what the Dotsama ecosystem is really all about, and super inspiring to see how collaborative it is, and how this community is building. And so yeah, that's when we did the proposal for the treasury for the first milestone of the Kusamaverse. Really humble beginnings, and that's basically live since the 24th of May, and I think today or tomorrow the proposal for the second milestone is going on chain. So really excited for that.
That's excellent to hear. You know, a lot of people in the community, when this was originally submitted and started being talked about, I think we're just highly impressed that something like this level came out of a ecosystem that's, you know, for all intents and purposes, brand new.
Hmm.
With the parachains just being live, you know, in January 2022. So I got to say that was one of the things that I was amazed by, just like the open world, understanding it kind of like better, where it's more of a collaborative environment. I think the use cases for this are just kind of like open ended. It's there's a lot, you know. I can honestly attest to a lot of the in person things. Like things just seem to work better when you're in person and you can kind of see uh, the vision better. You
Hmm.
know, working at a decentralized company myself, it's the constant communication via computers. It's not always the best. You know, your audio's cutting in and out. The video is not as good. Um, it's yeah, it can be hard. And I think, you know, y'all opening up the metaverse is actually to that kind of environment is honestly amazing.
Having a place where the people, the projects and initiatives, and the action come together, right? So that would feel really
Mm-hmm.
like a space that could become a home for the ecosystem and all the connected ecosystems, because each parachain is its own ecosystem, so to say. And there, in each parachain is also an incubator, right? And they want teams building on top of these parachains and such. So um, in that regard, I think we still have a long way to go before we really um, say, okay, now we have it right. But the exciting thing is that we feel that there is something there, and together we can explore making that happen. Because um, if it's going to
Yeah.
happen anywhere, it's going to be there, right? So because the collaboration and the co-creation that is happening in Web3 is really multidimensional, because it's especially in the Dotsama ecosystem, because everything is composable, right? All the the utility from all the parachains, it's composable, and now we have an opportunity to create on top this social experience layer, right? That and I think from that social experience layer, we will get new use
Agreed.
cases for these parachains as well.
Yeah,
That's what really excites me.
I'm really excited about this too because I really appreciate the approach you and your team took on really being like a decentralized metaverse. So I think we see a number of examples of metaverses out there right now, but it's the idea that a lot of them are creating this like scarcity, like they're selling spots to the
Mm.
metaverse, which is like kind of counterintuitive because it's like where like that there shouldn't be scarcity of something, one, so early, two, apologies, um, that it's just they're building on such a simple look at it. They're trying to turn around and make money, a very, degenerate Web 2 kind of approach, when really the metaverse should be about connecting and creating community, which I love what I'm seeing from Momentum in that it's built to be composable. You're not trying to sell a plot of land to somebody at a really expensive cost because, a
No.
celebrity said you should. It's more of building and connecting and allowing the collaboration, which some of the parts being the collaboration being better than the some of the individual parts really creates a benefit. So I really respect that about it, and I can't wait to see as we continue with milestone 2 and how how the Dotsama ecosystem
Yeah,
grows
and
around it.
go ahead.
Hmm. Yeah,
Oh, I was just gonna say,
go ahead, Josh.
overcoming, I think, user experiences in this whole thing is a big challenge. Just not on Polkadot, but on all blockchains. And I can kind of see a way, how
Hmm.
Momentum can make that easier, especially in the metaverse, right? It's super easy when everything's on the screen. So, like, besides the obvious way, I guess, like, how does Momentum kind of help solve for this problem on the Kusama network?
Yeah, I think I think it's a really good question, and it's one of our, let's say, research and exploration questions as well. What is the added value of a three-dimensional environment for doing on-chain things and gatherings and all that kind of stuff? Um, and that's really what we are finding out together through this project, right? And because it's open source, because the stack is composable, because there is no buy-in with plots of land. I mean, I understand that people want to make money, so that they choose to sell land because it has been done before, also in Second Life, and it worked there as well. And I mean, yeah, it's kind of with new technology, people often project what people already do in the new technology, and you get a bit more of the same, right? You extrapolate the same behavior, but what we are interested in is changing behavior because we feel that is needed in order to get towards a better 21st century, so to say. And so then, yeah, let's start with changing all those kind of fundamentals as well. And if you look at um, let's say the the space where you bring together the people, the initiatives, and the action, then the question becomes what kind of actions or activities, initiatives, and projects, what can people create themselves, right? I think that's the most important thing, and that's where we are not yet, because with the first milestone, what we did is okay, log into the metaverse with your Polkadot.js wallets. Okay, in the milestone 2, we're going to add the other wallets, the usual suspects with uh, and and so, okay, can we do staking directly from the metaverse? Yes. Okay. Yes, we have that. It's very, I would say, yeah. I mean, we kind of did the basics there, right? It works. Is it super user friendly? Because you really you can just fly to kind of the independent operators and the validators, and then choose to say, okay, I like what you're doing. I'm gonna stake my tokens in your validator and want. But now, okay, in the next milestone, um, we're completely changing the flow to how you basically select your set of validators. Really in a much more simple way where we kind of leave out um, the information that I cannot really read and understand, like all these numbers. What are they? They have. I mean, I can look them up. I can look and understand what they are, but why do I need them when I just want to stake my tokens in these validators? And so we want to bring more, let's say, the human part, the social part in the process, and enable the community to become stronger through these actions. It's not just about making money. It's also about strengthening the ecosystem. And we know, I mean, of course, there's a large part of people that look to optimize for, let's say, making the most money, but there are also people that like to, next to that, optimize for the best outcomes for the ecosystem. And I think where those two meet, that's where you have and that's what we want to achieve altogether. So it's partially in making a new user experience that makes it really tangible and concrete. I mean, I was presenting this a while back to a non Web3 crowd, and then you can say, okay, have you ever seen a blockchain? Well, you haven't, right? But now you're looking at one. It's of course a representation of it, but here there's a block. Oh, and there's another one, and you see which node is validating at the moment. I mean, it's a good opener, and of course that's not the key thing, but it starts with that, and then I think making sure that people can organize activities and build within the Kusamaverse themselves, that is going to really spark, let's say, the action and why people will come back, because then they can create their own stuff. And I think that's the most important thing to unlock. So as we are moving forward with milestone 2, we're going to add more and more customizability to the Kusamaverse, eventually leading towards a 3D world builder anyone can use to build their own 3D worlds and bring those 3D worlds into the network. And that's basically the journey we are on, where we don't start with that, but we kind of want to work with the community towards that and learn, why do you want to customize what, in which way, and how do you govern these worlds? Because if you create worlds in which people can create and destruct, and where they can build all kinds of things, whether it's with 3D assets or voxels, how do you govern all of that, right? And we want to do these things step by step, so that we can create meaningful worlds that cater digital societies, meaning communities, economics, governance, with the right ownership, right? And then you can build something scalable altogether. So it's really a long-term thing, where the Kusamaverse is the best place for the community to get together and really explore with us all these use cases that you could think of doing in the metaverse, that are more like non-gaming, collaborative. How can we build the ecosystems? How can we build the cool projects? How can we make this cool expo of all these Web3 projects while they're being built, and then see how you can contribute? Imagine being new in the Dotsama ecosystem, and where do you start? What are all the things that are being built, and how can I contribute to them? And um, if we do it right, then
Yeah.
um, yeah, I think it's gonna be unstoppable, this ecosystem, because the spirit is already there, right? We just have to understand that well enough to create an environment where this spirit scales.
Right, and I see like coming from a very kind of my with my occupational experience, very Web two. I think there's a lot of businesses like challenging themselves right now to figure out how to adjust to the Web three world, and so there's a big concern when it comes to like going from being able to have the shopping mall experience to walk around and see what the environment's like. And I think there's a big gap when you come to Web3 because it's, a lot of times it's people passing links to say, hey, look at this project or look at that. I think this creates it fills such a need, and for, it's very, as composable as it is, see such great potential for someone new to the Polkadot and Kusama environments. It's so hard to understand. You just hear what people are, hyping on Twitter when really it needs to be more about a collaborative growth experience, and then being able to go ask somebody that if you're floating around in Momentum and figuring out, hey, I'm looking for cool DID solutions, and who's that, and being able to go and find Kilt or look, EMV, all this cool stuff. So I think that's a great challenge that will be solved by people coming into something like Momentum to be able to float around and be like, hey, you don't have to be told what to go see. You can go see it.
Yep. Yeah, and engage and decide if you want to engage, and also experience that utility firsthand. So the next steps are also that we can bring in the utility of the individual parachains and bring them to life in the Kusamaverse. I think that's also going to be very exciting. And that these platforms can have their own identities.
Definitely, it's way more accessible with the visual medium.
You can play with the utility in a different
I feel
way,
like
in a very
sometimes
physical way.
Reading all this stuff coming in as a new person into the ecosystem, it can be kind of like overwhelming, and being able to visualize it through like something that you're used to with similar graphics like a video game. It's honestly, yeah, I totally see the vision. I totally see it.
Cool.
All right. So, are there any final items you'd like to discuss? Upcoming events? You mentioned hackathons. I think we have the some events coming up. Is there anything you wanted to shout out?
Yeah, I think we're very much looking forward to Decode It, and we're flying in the whole team to Berlin, and that's where we're having a physical hackathon, but a very different one without any laptops, but really do a hackathon in understanding. Um, I think it's special where if you look into the different Web3 ecosystems, you all see different vibes. You all see different kind of um, drivers, um, and we really want to understand the needs behind what people are doing and why they are doing it. So why are people intrinsically motivated to work in this particular ecosystem, and what is their long-term need that they are fulfilling themselves, and how is that connecting to themselves, to their teams, to their project, and to the bigger picture of what we're trying to achieve in the Dotsama ecosystem as a whole. And so it's very much on the social side what we're going to do in Berlin. Um, and what is going to be fun is that more and more people start to organize community calls, AMAs, all kinds of sessions in the Kusamaverse. We're also expanding the Kusamaverse with a lot more, yeah, let's say space for different communities. So already we have Polka House, Chaos DAO, Nova Wallet, all these kind of teams are already having a space. And we got so many requests that the original idea of having a couple of spaces in the middle of this relay chain, it was quickly becoming crowded. So now we have kind of a new floor plan, and we look forward to upgrading that so that we can have a lot more spaces so that people can bring in their own projects and in different areas and stuff like that. Um, um, and yeah, I mean, then we can already see the world calendar in this space filling up. Um, yeah, I highly recommend people to read up on the milestone 2. There's a lot in there. It just went on chain. I just saw the notification in my screen. Um, and so it's very exciting. I'm very much looking forward to that. Also, I'm learning so much from all the other projects that are building in. So yeah, we really want to get in touch with all these different teams that are working either on a parachain or on a dApp or all kinds of NFT projects. Very, very exciting to bring them in and to see um, how this shared space can really help them be successful. So that's where we are in the journey. And yeah, basically everyone is invited to contribute, to give input, suggestions, feedback, etc. Um, yeah, very much open to all of that. We're developing as open as we can, and saying that as well, we have a shit ton to learn because really nobody knows what they're doing in when they're developing a metaverse because it's never been done before, right? It's completely new territory, and so we are most of the time trying to focus on getting the right questions, and then see how we can get an iteration of a possible answer and then try it and then see if it works or not, right? And some things work very well, and some things you say, okay, we thought it was important, but it's less important. So we feel like beginners here, even though we have an experienced team of developers, of community builders, etc. And so taking this metaverse journey as an exploration into the society of the future approach, where it's a very simple mission: unlock this collaborative superpowers of humans, whether you're 8 or 88 years old, wherever you live. Yeah, we hope that this resonates with people and that they want to contribute to it.
I really like that approach in terms of having like a deductive scientific method in terms of approach and innovation, instead of inducing the idea, having what some might think a metaverse should be, is creating something that's composable, scalable, and built off of user inputs, and that being user of an individual, organizations, the builders, but really playing to the community side of it and not letting the now dictate the future, but rather letting the users help dictate and help grow it. I think that's really beautiful and great for the technology, and that's so Web3. So it's really great and refreshing to see. So really do appreciate that.
So yeah, Rutger van Zuidam, or for the non-Dutch speaking folks, just call me Rudy. So yeah, from the Netherlands, we're building Odyssey since 2016, and yeah, because of COVID, we started building Momentum, and we'll get in that rabbit hole within a sec, but. Yeah, I have a background in business information systems. I've done on both ends startup, IT startups like paylogic.com, but also did larger enterprise projects. So I know a little bit of different sides of the table, yeah.
Well, this has been an honor. Thank you so much for your time. I implore anybody to go on and check out Momentum. You just have to have either a Polkadot.js wallet or one of the available options. Go fly around and enjoy yourself. Also check out the Milestone 2 that just went on chain for vote. Lots of really cool things coming up, so definitely check those out and stay tuned with Odyssey Momentum, and we're excited to see the future roll out with you.
Awesome. Thanks for having me, guys.